Hello and welcome to Loon Lovers Live, where we are chatting with fans of the Game Changer series and the cast and crew of the Heated Rivalry TV show. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Anne, and today we're meeting with Ashley Iris Gill to talk about her experience with the books and the show. Ashley is credited as the B camera operator for Heated Rivalry and is an award-winning filmmaker. The cinematography on Heated Rivalry is next level, and we are so happy to have Ashley here with us today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
First, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Okay, so I am on Instagram. It's my whole name, Ashley Iris Gill. Honestly, it's the same across all socials. So if you just type in Ashley Iris Gill anywhere, you'll find me.
Perfect. Where are you from, and how did you get into film?
So I grew up in Durham, Pickering to be specific. It's a suburbs in the east end of the city, just outside of Toronto. And I guess second part is how I got into film. I actually got into film, funny enough, through like reading and writing. So writing was my actual first love.
Oh,
Um, yeah, like I thought I was gonna be an author, to be completely honest. Like that was like my thing. And what actually made me get into
wow.
film was it bothered me when I would write something and people would envision it different than like how I would, like how I would describe a
Yeah.
character. I knew that like you would see that character differently, or you would experience that scene or that chapter differently. And I was like, filmmaking is the only medium where you can actually dictate everything that people experience from like what they see, what like, how they see, how they experience things, what they feel. So um, yeah, I guess I pivoted into film just because I wanted more creative control. And I also just loved watching movies.
Hmm.
That's cool. It's still storytelling,
Oh
so
yeah, for
yeah.
Yeah.
sure, for sure, for sure. They're all amazing. They're all amazing like forms of like storytelling. I
Yeah.
just feel like reading and writing was like a nice
Right.
medium, but I wanted to just like step into something else. And I was prior to reading and writing, I was into post and photography and stuff. And I was like, I love photography, but I think there's something special about like moving images. Like, like it's fun to capture someone smiling, but why not capture the laugh that comes right after? Like just seeing, people's real life expressions. So yeah, that kind of took me over into the film industry.
All right. How did you find out about Heated Rivalry, and did you know what you were walking into before you took the job?
Well, I guess I found out about the show like through my agent. Because that's like the first conversation. I actually knew Jackson Burrell, the DP, before because he had hired me to operate for him on we did essentially like an EPK for another show that was coming out, and he was a DP on it, and I was a B camera operator, and we had a great time on that. So when Heated Rivalry came up and he wanted me to be a camera operator, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Like I love Jackson. Like he has such a good vibe.
That's
But
great.
yeah, and then after my agent talked to me about it, I was doing some research online and looking it up, and I'm like, wow, like this is so interesting how big this show is about like two gay hockey stars.
Yeah, it has taken off a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a
A
little
bit,
bit.
yes, a bit.
Um, did you read the script before you got on set? Did Jacob prepare like a detailed shot list at the start of each day? And how true to that did he stay on that schedule?
Okay, so I definitely read the script. That's just something that you do as a camera operator. Like once you get hired for a job, some operators don't read the script, but I think it's really important to kind of know what you're getting into. And I
Mm.
think it really helps the conversations you have with like your DP about like intention and what you're trying to capture because you're not guessing. It's like, oh yeah, there's a scene in the kitchen that this happens, and like you already know what that is for outside of like the blocking and stuff that you'll see like on the day. So yeah, definitely read the scripts. I thought they were amazing. I couldn't imagine it being what it is today, but yeah, I was really captivated by the stories. I think that Jacob is such a talented director, writer, and it just felt really authentic. Like I felt like all the conversations that I was reading in the script, I was like, no, this is real. Like this is actually how conversation should be and dialogue. But yeah, in terms of like shot listing. I personally didn't get a shot list like myself, but like the DP and Jacob, like yeah, Jackson and Jacob, they had like a shot list, and then they would talk to us about what we're gonna capture throughout the day. But honestly, I will say like Jackson also gave me like a lot of like agency to kind of like do my own thing as well, which was nice because there's some DPs where like every single frame they know exactly what they want. They're like, oh, like this medium here, like don't do this, da 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 da. But I felt like with Jackson, he kind of had like certain like rules or things that were important to him or things that he cared about or like certain sensitivities and stuff like that. But there'll be times where he'll be like, oh, just like find me a nice close up, you know, or he'll be like, just get something that has like both of their eyes, or you know what I mean? So we'd have like a lot of fun. And I think that also made the show a lot better because I didn't really feel bogged down or micromanaged in any way. But at the same time, there was a lot of shots where he did specify how he wanted it, and it just made sense for the story.
Hmm. That sounds amazing.
No, it was a
Um,
good workflow.
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I love that some of it was ad hoc and you could just choose what you got to do. That's really cool.
Just because a lot of people were asking like, oh, what's the difference between like an A camera operator and a B camera
Mhm.
operator and stuff like that. So the main difference between like an A camera operator and a B camera operator is like the A camera operator is typically like the more senior operator, definitely more experience, and like they always get all the wide shots because
Oh.
like the
Okay.
wide shots tell the story, like the
Hmm.
main thing. Like you can always cut back. You know what I mean? If anything happens, like you always, so it's like they always say, like, yeah, the A camera tells the story. And then the B camera, typically it's used for like all the close-ups, more intimate stuff. But because there was so many close-ups, we definitely tag team a lot of those
Okay.
A and B. But traditionally, it's normally like A will get the wide, B will get like the close-ups. And then A camera operators are also typically like specialty operators. So it's like James can do Ronin, he can do Steadicam, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And like I can't do Steadicam or Ronin, so like those are all A camera stuff, but all out of the handheld stuff, the zoom lens stuff, that was on me. But yeah, A typically wide historically or specialty or like weird shots, like all the oneers and stuff like that. Those were all James. Um, yeah, but those are two different. So B gets the close-ups, A gets the wides. Sometimes we tag team it. I think there's a couple scenes that I didn't do because the room was too small. Like that shower scene was all James. That steamy shower scene. Yeah, it was too small.
Yeah,
You're not fitting two cameras in there. But yeah, so
sure.
if there's a moment where there's a single camera, it'll be like A cam. And when there's two cameras, I always hop in. But yeah. And then sometimes in the 3D volume wall that we used, it's sometimes hard to do two cameras
Hmm.
because like the way that you shoot that, it's like you have trackers on top of the cameras and the backgrounds will move with each camera. So if you have one camera here and one camera here, like the background would be trying to move in two different directions at the same time. So the
Okay.
only way you could like sneak me in, it's like if I had a very like weird, close, abstracty shot, or if I was like right next to James and we weren't moving. That was like the only way.
Yeah,
But yeah, just want to throw that out there.
That's cool.
very
So
cool. I
on
did not know any of that.
Yeah.
on like closed sets, would there be A and B or just one or the other?
It's kind of situational.
Hmm.
So I think on a show like this, most of the intimate scenes were A and B just so you can like cover more in a short amount of time. So it
Okay.
would be like James would be getting like the wider like intimate scene where you're seeing like waist up the whole night, and I'd be getting like the really close stuff like going from like their chest like moving down, all kinds of stuff. Like that moment when they were sitting in the gym like looking at each other, it
Hmm.
was like, so James got
Mhm.
like that wide two shot of them like sitting there like this. And then I
Yeah,
ended up doing all the close-up. So I was like the POV. So I was like the male gaze, like looking at him, like swallowing the water, like, you know, the
yeah,
water passing from hands. Like all that stuff was me, like the close-up stuff. Um, but yeah, I'd say for in most intimate scenes, they try to sneak in two cameras,
Okay.
unless it's like the space is just too small, it doesn't make sense. But it just also helps the actors. It's like just get it in a couple of angles here, and then we go to the other side of the bed, get a couple angles there, and then you can just cut between what you need. But yeah, typically I was there for most of the intimate scenes.
We salute your work.
yes. This is all
I
fascinating.
appreciate you.
Yeah, that's
Thank,
amazing.
thank you.
Um,
100%.
what was your favorite part of season one of the show?
Oh, my favorite part, like a behind the scenes favorite part or behind the scenes like favorite moment that I watched.
Both.
Um, Honestly, it's tough. I don't even know if this is actually my favorite part, but I feel like the last day of shooting at the cottage, I just felt like there's just so much emotions in a good way that it felt almost like euphoric. Like it's like
Oh,
I remember us like shooting that last scene like
Yeah.
where the boys were like on the bench and like the fireplace was in front of them. And I just felt like everyone just seemed it was kind of like a happy depression. Like we are all sad that it was ending. We are looking at them. Like I was like, hey, wow, this is like the last like capture I'm gonna get of them. Like it was just such a I don't know, I can't even explain it, especially because we shot it in Muskoka. So we are all like away from home, like staying in hotels, like we were like a little family, and then this was like, the final hurrah. But yeah, and then even like being at the cottage for me specifically, because originally it was gonna be one camera at the cottage, but then they ended up like saying like, yo, we're gonna bring two cameras out at the last second. I was like, oh yeah, I get to go. Um I get to be a part of the ending because you always want to be there for the wrap day. Like that's like one of the most important days of the shoot, you know? Like that's when everyone's saying their goodbyes, hugging each other and stuff. So I was really happy I got to be a part of that.
that's amazing. Would you say that was your most memorable day on set?
Um, Actually, no, I think my most memorable day on set was the locker room day when they won and they were like spraying the champagne and
Oh,
everything was
yeah.
in slow-mo. I think that was my favorite day just because like it was just so chaotic in the best way. Like there's photos of me and the A camera operator James were in like these like white suits like so that we don't get wet. So we're like we're in these full like onesies. I got goggles on. I like wrapped like a grocery bag just around my bun because I didn't want to get it in my hair. And then I remember like as soon as they started rolling and I'm just like panning the camera around, looking at all the chaos, and I'm just seeing like water flying everywhere, the wall, their faces, everyone screaming. Like it was just there was just so much energy in the room that was such a fun scene to shoot. Like when it was done, I was like, oh my gosh, like what did we do? But I had a lot of fun. That was definitely my favorite.
So for that, do they have to plan like down to the wire for that? Because I'm assuming you do that once and then you're good with
Oh
all
yeah.
that
You can
mess.
only do it once,
I'm pretty sure we did it once. Now I'm trying to remember. I just feel like I was just so in the moment. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of planning. Like, actually, did we do it twice? Actually, I think no, we did do it twice actually
right?
because we did a take. Yeah, we did a take with me and James both
Oh,
shooting,
wow.
and then there was a take with like just James like by himself on the dolly getting a bunch of stuff. Pretty sure that's how we yes. Um but yeah, there was a lot of planning. It was kind of like James, the A camera operator, he was focused on like the hero cast of like Hudson and Connor the most. And for me, I was more so like cruising across all the other team members, seeing what was going on. But yeah, it was just a crazy day. It was just a lot of fun. And the locker room was so small and so hot and so claustrophobic, but it was like the best vibe.
That's the sign of a good set where
That's awesome.
No, it was
you're
great.
sweating and you're claustrophobic, but you're having a good time anyway.
Oh, the best time. I love that scene. And then even just watching it back with the crew at like the village was just hilarious. Like the slow-mo, the facial expressions. Yeah, I had a good time.
So we have a similar question. I don't know that this will be the same answer, but what scene was most memorable for you to shoot?
I got to shoot a lot on the zoom lens because typically like James would be on steady camera, Ronan, and like I
Mhm.
would be on the zoom a lot. So there'd be like some insane shots. Like there's a shot when Francois is like running and he's like walking towards us and we're on a zoom lens. And I just remember like because I think the zoom was like
Yeah.
something insane. Like I think it was like 35 to like 400 and then we had a doubler on it. So it was like we're shooting like 800 or something insane. So it was like, yeah, shooting super far. And I just remember thinking, like, wow, JJ is an insane focus puller because how is he keeping this focused as this person's running towards us, as I'm also zooming out and following him? Like, there was just so many things happening. But I really enjoyed, yeah, I enjoyed like all those weird zoom shots or like the shot where Hudson is coming in to have like dinner with his parents or whatever. So like following him to the door, coming in and then like zooming in on his face. Like I felt those shots were a lot of fun. Like when we pulled Hudson in to have the conversation with his parents. I just, yeah, it was like a video game to me. It's just like, oh, following here, and then we're zooming out, and then just like pushing in on him. And the one good thing is we had also headsets. So
Hmm.
me, both of the Jacksons, like James, all of
Mhm.
us had headsets. So there's like little moments where he would like talk to me in my headset, or like he'll say like nice things about the shot that we're getting, him or Jacob. And I felt like those were like the best moments because like, oh
Aw.
yes, Ash, like that looks great, or like, yeah, like you're oh my gosh, like like just hyping each other up in the moment was really nice. Um, and then even like I'm not a big hockey fan in general. Like I've never really watched hockey growing up. So I felt a little bit nervous at first, like shooting all the hockey scenes, because like
Mhm.
I was the one up in the bleachers, like following them down there. And James was also doing the same thing, but there was moments where like he was actually on the ice and I was still like up there in the bleachers. And yeah, I feel like it was almost like flow state. Like it was like once I found where the puck was, I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. Like just follow it, just follow it, just follow it. And then we were just going. So me and JJ and Joey, our second AC, we had a lot of fun up there in the bleacher, just chatting and finding those shots. But yeah, I also enjoyed like just following the puck, literally.
Yeah, we were at a hockey game last night, and you're following that little black circle on the, on the ice.
No, honestly, and sometimes I would miss it. I'd be like, Jackson, I don't
Yeah.
know where the puck is. He's like, the left side. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And I find it again. But yeah, it was fun shooting the hockey. Trying to think any other good scenes. Oh, also I really enjoyed shooting the scene with everyone in the bar. We had like Matthew, like Nadine, all of them were like hanging out at the bar. And I think because I've done other shoots with like a lot of those cast members. So I felt like that day was a lot of fun because I felt like I got to see a bunch of people from other jobs that I did. I was like, oh my gosh, like Nadine, like Matthew, like Brandon, like it was so nice seeing everyone. And then that scene was just a vibe. Like I love like clubs, lounges, and stuff like that. I guess that brings me to the next segue. The club scene
Hmm.
that we shot was also
The club scene,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah,
The camera work in that is
yeah. I will say like shout out James because he did all the steady cam stuff through the crowds and all those like really emotive shots with them. But yeah, that was just a really like fun day. Like we spent all day in a nightclub in the daytime. There was a bunch of extras. Um, yeah, I just honestly, it was just a fun environment to be a part of, even though once again, very claustrophobic space. But but yeah, it was just like a lot of good vibes. I love the lighting. It was very like moody. And then same deal because we're in a nightclub. I was able to kind of cruise around and just shoot random like B-roll things and just watching people dance and all these little random moments. And I love that. Like I love just like finding little things everywhere.
That's like a little treasure hunt.
Yeah. So I know that was a lot of like favorite moments, and there's probably a lot more, but those are the ones that are like popping out in my head right now as I'm thinking.
But how amazing to have an experience where there's a ton of memorable moments versus trying to rack your brain just to find like, was there one? So,
Wait, I have one more.
okay.
I have one more. Sorry, well, last one. I'll say
yeah.
this is the moment that I felt like the most touched in the whole movie. So we're shooting the scene where Hudson comes out to his mom
Oh,
outside. And
Yes.
honestly, I feel like it didn't feel like acting. Like it felt so real even to me that I'm not even joking. Like I actually started to tear up behind the camera. Like I was watching him, even though we did a bunch of takes, every take still hit. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even like look at this scene right now. Like it was just so heartwarming. And it just made me think about like, yeah, when I was younger and I came out the closet. So it was just like I feel like that scene I was the most touched. And that's when I was like, yo, Hudson, star. Because he was just that,
Yes.
yeah, performance was insane.
such a wonderful scene.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. It's
Yeah, I
good.
felt touched.
Yeah. So we've heard that this was only shot, what, over 36 days or so? So pretty tight shooting schedule. Um, were there any splinter units or tandem shots set up? And if so, are there any shots that stand out as particularly fun or challenging to do as a separate setup?
Hmm. We didn't really have like splinter unit per se. There was moments where like me and like James would like separate, but it wasn't like splinter unit as like I had a full team, he had a full
Mm.
team, Jackson's trying to manage two crews. It might be like I'm starting getting an exterior outside of like a building or something, and James might be inside, like getting like the actual meat of the scene. So we didn't really like separate in that way, but there was one day actually where we had a scene where James had to go grab that scene. So then I ended up getting like doing the A camera stuff of the scene inside the coffee shop when Kip and Francois were they're
Mm.
having those cute little smoothie moments, you know? Yeah. So one of those cute smoothie scenes,
Flirting over
I
Swing.
shot it solo. Yeah. Yeah, when he
I
stopped by
love
to get
that.
his usual. Yeah, so yeah, I got to pretty much do that. But yeah, we didn't really have too much splinter that much. And we honestly had like short days, like 10-hour days. Honestly, sometimes they're even shorter. Sometimes we'd finish the work so fast, we'd be like waiting for nighttime because like we're assumed to be shooting until then. But then Jackson's just so quick. I'm like, yo, it's 4 o'clock. It's not even gonna get dark until like 8, 9.
It's amazing.
What was it like shooting a queer show as a queer person yourself?
Um, well, honestly, I love it. I feel like I typically do end up getting a lot of like queer projects. And I don't know, I
Oh,
just
that's
think there's,
cool.
yeah, I think there's just something really beautiful about being able to like archive certain moments as a queer person with a queer POV because I think there's different like sensibilities as well as like just things that I'm thinking of that I think someone else might not think of. And honestly, I will say like out of most crews I've been on, this was like the safest set. Like everyone was super caring, everyone was very protective of everyone. Yeah, no one said or did anything like weird. It was like definitely a very safe set. But I think like for me, it just felt so nice to be like the first audience to this story and to know that like I was lending like my own taste and sensibilities to it. So yeah, it was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. And then just hearing all the responses and like even the messages I'm getting as like just the camera operator has been really like beautiful.
I mean, but
Love
not
that.
just the camera operator.
No, but
The
I just
work
mean
is
like no, like I
you're
understand like
incredible. Incredible.
no, the camera work is definitely beautiful, but I think that like I'm so used to in general in the industry, it's normally like the directors and the DPs that, people are a lot like really curious about. And I think this
Mhm.
is probably the first show where every single crew member is getting so much love. The production designer, you know what I mean? The intimacy coordinator, like the focus pullers. Like, so I think that's more my shock because like as a cinematographer, I also get like, my moment and stuff like that. But it was just so interesting to be like, wow. I'm the B camera operator, and so much people are showing so much love.
Keep it up, Heated Rivalry fans.
Yes.
No, honestly, yeah, it's been amazing. But yeah, I guess shooting queer projects, I don't know, there's just something special about it. I think even when it is a queer project, I think even the way that people crew up queer projects are a lot different than non-queer projects.
Hmm.
So I think just like the curation of humans that we got to work on this project with was just like spectacular.
That's an important point. Yeah. Yeah. So did you get to see the show before it was released? And if you did or didn't, how did you also celebrate the release of the show?
So unfortunately, okay, so we had a premiere party in November, and the last week, like the last 10 days of November, I guess in the beginning of November, they were super dead. So I decided that I was gonna go to a 10-day silent retreat
Oh
just
no.
to heal, work on
Oh,
my
wow.
mental health the whole night. And that was the only 10 days I've had off in years, it felt like.
Oh
So I was like, okay,
wow.
perfect, nothing's going on. And then as soon as I booked that retreat, it's like, oh, premiere party 24th. And another show that I did also had a premiere party 27th. And I was like, guys, I'm gonna miss everything. So
Oh,
unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the party because I was at the retreat. But because the retreat had no phones or technology, I didn't have any FOMO because I didn't see a thing. But yeah, I definitely missed
Oh,
it.
wow.
I know,
Please
I
take that.
know. I know, like I came back on the 31st to like a million messages, like, like, yeah, it was just insane coming back to everything. But yeah, I was pretty much off grid for the whole premiere party, the release and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, and I honestly, I love premiere parties. I love like getting dressed up. I love all that type of stuff. So I definitely felt sad, but it happens, you know? And then I did celebrate when I came home with my friends. Like, I went to one of my best friend's house and we ended up like watching it together. And they were just asking a bunch of questions, talking through it. And yeah, I felt like that was just as good, sitting with my day ones, like my best friend and just kind of watching the show together. So that was my premiere party celebration.
Was there a prop on set that you really wanted to take home?
Oh my gosh. That is such a good question. Oh, yes, yes, yes. This is for Brandon, our producer. Okay, so I know you guys know like there's a lot of CGI for all the people that were in the stands like
Yeah.
during the show. And so we had a
Yes.
bunch of extras come out one day and they were all doing like the lineup through the green screen and doing stuff. And then the camera team was making a joke, like saying, like, I should go do one. And I'm like, okay, guys, like, absolutely not. And then like Brandon's like, yeah, come, Ash. I'm like, come do one. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went and did one. I was wearing like the red jersey and I was doing the whole like pretending I was cheering in the stands and the whole nine. And then when I was done, I'm like, yo, Brandon, I want to keep this jersey. He was like, okay, we got to keep this one for everyone because
Yes.
like, they're working on it, but like I'll get you one. So I think the one prop that I definitely wanted was like one of the jerseys like one of the NHL jerseys that they
Oh
were
my
wearing.
gosh. You didn't
He's
get
gonna get
one?
me one though. No, no, he's gonna get me one. He's gonna get
Okay.
me one. They're just like,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of
Okay.
other priorities, but he already said I'm gonna get one. So I think that's the one prop. Um, yeah, and then I also got like so at our wrap party, we actually got like hats from all the teams
Oh,
was
cool.
cool. So like on the exit, there was like a table full of every single hat, the Raiders, the Montreal, like every single team. So I ended up taking like three or four of those. Everyone else took a bunch of hats. That was cool that I got those props. And then we also got these t-shirts, which are also our wrap gift. Everyone got to pick which team they wanted. Guess another little like jokes like side story, but so when everyone got their t-shirts, because all summer I've kind of been like sleeveless. Like I like cutting up my clothes. I'm also into fashion and stuff. So I cut the sleeves off of this right when we got the crew shirt because I'm like, oh, I hate t-shirts like this because it was such a small, like it wasn't like a long t-shirt, it was like a really
Mhm.
small, awkward place t-shirt. So I was like, okay, I'm snipping it off. So I snipped off the arms, and then everyone's like, yo, that looks sick. So then everyone started like cutting off the sleeves off their shirts. So then I'm like, Jackson, the DP, he hands me his shirt. I cut off the sleeves. But then I was doing so many people's shirts that my second AC, Joey, he didn't want to wait. So he did his own. And so he cropped his arm off. And then I also cropped like the bottom too, because I didn't want it to be super long. And then Joey, my second AC, cropped his so high, it's like literally above his belly button. And he still decided to wear it for the rest of the day. I'm like, Joey, why didn't you just wait? Like, so he had a little belly top for half of the day, and it was hilarious.
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, no, it is a
That's so
funny photo.
funny.
It's such a funny
Yeah,
photo.
love
So,
that.
if we're looking through the show, are we going to see you cheering
Oh
in the
yeah.
In the
stands
background.
somewhere?
Oh,
Can
for
we
absolutely.
spot you?
No, honestly, if you look, you
And
can.
it's a
Like
red
we
jersey.
have, yeah, I'm in the red one. So
Okay.
Okay.
we have a camera team like WhatsApp group, and we all like share different things that we've been finding and seeing. And like literally the A camera operator James literally put a video in the group chat being like, yo, I spotted Ash. And there's like
Oh
it's like
my
a really
God.
close zoom in video, and you literally see me like going ham, like cheering.
I love that so much. So you're also in the show.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that was my little cameo. And then I think there's another moment at the bar or something that like I just sat in the chair. I was like, someone's like, I was like, yo, Jacob, I want to be in the show. He's like, go sit down. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, because it was just an A camera shot. So I ended up like sitting at the bar or something. I don't even know if
Yeah,
you see me in that scene, but those were my two cameos. I was definitely a crowd
you're
member
there.
and someone sitting at the bar.
Oh, we gotta look.
I love it.
Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah, we definitely got
We gotta sleuth that. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. That's my mission for today. Find Ashley in
Oh
the
my,
stands.
do I have it? I do have that video. It's so
to be
funny.
wearing.
Yeah, because we just post. Oh, here it is.
Where are you?
Oh my
That's so
God!
cool.
And there's me in like a bunch of places because they just like stacked me everywhere. So it's just jokes. You'll just see me
Yeah,
a
so you're
thousand
all
times.
over the place.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I
Yeah,
love that.
that's what I'm gonna do today.
Yeah, check
Where's Waldo? Be where's Waldo?
that out. Right,
So funny.
there's Ash in the background.
What a comeback for Canada. A huge win for the hometown boys tonight, who were determined to not lose to Russia on home ice 2 years in a row.
Brendan, get Ashley her jersey.
Oh my, I know, please,
Yeah.
Brandon, No. He's busy. I know he got my back. Or even season two, first day. If you want to just, bring the jersey to the first day, I ain't mad at
Have
that.
your
Yeah,
jersey there.
yeah.
Oh my
You can
gosh.
wear
Speaking of season two, what are you looking forward to for season two of the show?
Oh man. Honestly, I think I'm just looking forward to like being back with the fam. Like
Mm,
I really do feel like because of like the nature of the show, like we all got super close super fast. So I think I just like miss being with that crew. And also I did a feature right before that. Like I operated on a film before that, and literally I would say 65% of that crew came onto Heated Rivalry. So
wow.
it was like amazing. It was like I spent
Oh,
like
cool.
yeah, so I spent like 4 weeks with them, and then we had like a week off, and then we did Heated Rivalry. So yeah, it was just I just felt like I was like, oh sick. I got to basically spend the whole summer with like the same crew for the most part, which was nice.
That's
But yeah, I think
amazing.
just being with everyone again. Um, yeah, I guess just the vibes. And honestly, I just think it's just a great show to be a part of. I also like as a cinematographer as well, like I just like working with other cinematographers, and it's pretty rare to be honest, because we don't all get to operate for each other. Like there's
Mhm.
some people who are like just operators or just DPs, but like Jackson, James, and me, like we're all DPs. So it's really nice in that regard. But yeah, I think just being with everyone is what I'm most excited for.
Amazing.
Another good segue, because our next question is everything we've seen from a fan perspective shows a very cohesive and fun filming environment. So, what was the dynamic of the crew and what made it such a positive experience?
Oh man, it was like the perfect batch of like talentedly silly people. Like, I felt like everyone had such
Fun.
interesting personalities, but everyone was like super chill, super themselves. I think even like Jacob's personality being like, I wish I could explain it. It's like he has so much like energy, knows exactly what he wants, but he's so down to earth. Like I felt like he was like a brother. Like I just felt like he's like my big bro. Like we're always like teasing each other, being silly. Yeah, and then the same thing with like my camera team. Like I felt like me, JJ, and Joey, we had like so many like little inside jokes, we're just laughing. We'd have like little parties in our hotel room, or there'll be moments if we're like waiting for the sundown or something. We just have our speaker, we're playing music, we're like dancing on the sidewalks, like, all
Hey,
right,
you're in White Snake.
yo, JJ! Oh my God. You guys are so ridiculously entertaining. We honestly had so much fun on that show. Like, I just feel like everyone was truly the most themselves, but also just like super talented. So it just felt like we're all here to do a job, but we're also here to have fun. I felt like we had like the perfect balance of that. Yeah, so just a good time, honestly. Yeah. Everyone was super chill. Um, yeah, I love that crew, honestly, and the cast. I just loved everyone. We had such a good time.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Awesome. Looking back over past interviews with you, I see that the 10 by 10 photography project was very meaningful. How did Heated Rivalry compare to your most meaningful project?
That's so, mm, I guess it's kind of tough because they're so different. Like
Mhm.
10 by 10 essentially was kind of more so um in the vein of like a documentary-ish. So they were kind of like little video portraits. So 10 by 10 is uh photo, it used to be a photo series. So essentially you get 10 queer lens-based artists to shoot 10 more queer artists, and then they'd make a book out of it. So it's like every year you're honoring 100 like queer people. And so it went from 2010 to 2020, like so it was like a decade. So at the end of it, there was like 1,000 queer people honored in this book, and everyone would have different themes, you know. But like the themes were like very interesting. So it might be like one that I saw that was like very like outlandish, but I was like, okay, that's fun. Is they had all their 10 subjects like sitting in like a sea of dildos, and I was like, that's creative. Yeah, some of them they did like every photo is in black and white and everyone's
Yeah.
naked, and the year before mine, they actually introduced video, which was cool because I was like, okay, I can do like a little like video series. So I did mine on queerness and clothing and just like how yeah, just like how what we wear dictates how people view us and how we show up in the world and stuff like that. And just like our clothing journey, how we find comfort in certain outfits, how certain things remind us of like time and space, you know, like if you lose someone and you have like their hoodie or something like that. So um I felt like that was a very important project, mainly too, because like all the 10 people that I interviewed for it were all my really good friends. Like I didn't reach out to any influencers or anyone that I thought was cool in fashion. It was literally like my friends who I think dress cool and have an interesting story to tell. So I think like all of our interviews were very like organic and authentic. So I'm just talking to my friends.
Hmm.
Um, and then also like I shot it all by myself. Like I shot it, I edited it, I colored it. I did every single thing except for sound. And I had one friend who's a production designer help me with like the actual set build of it. But it's a 21-hour shoot day solo. So yeah, that was very insane. But I think
Wow.
they were very different, but I guess how they compare, I think they both honored queer stories in a specific way. So I think
Mhm.
that's how I would tie them together, but they're just so vastly different.
Mhm. Um, okay. If there is one previous project that you've worked on that you'd want fans of Heated Rivalry to watch, what would you want them to watch? And what was the most challenging to shoot?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Um, no, it's just tough because I don't think I've done anything like Heated Rivalry. I
Mhm.
definitely have a lot of like queer
Yeah.
projects or like projects that focus around like the Black experience, but a lot of it's also documentary. Like I do
Mhm.
narrative, but I feel like a lot of my narrative stuff is more like comedy or like lighthearted. So I'm trying to think what,
Okay.
you know what? Actually, you know what? I'll say a
What
show, but I
compares?
actually wasn't the DP on the show. I was a camera operator, but I do think that it is a show that also like blew up and had a lot of buzz, but sort of. I was a
Oh,
camera operator on the show CBC Sort of, which actually follows like a trans character through her different experiences, her friend group and stuff. But what I think is really special about that show is although the main character Bilal is a trans character, they didn't like center it in a way that felt like too much. It was almost like a character in their world, but we're not like that's not we're not hyper focused on that. You know, like in certain scenes when they're navigating dating and stuff, like where that's when we are kind of talking about it, but it wasn't such a centerpiece. And I think that's what I love about certain queer stories when it's like, yes, this is a queer character in a regular world. Like, you know, like we're
Yeah.
not like their queerness is not the center of
yeah.
everything.
It's there, but it's not. Yeah.
Exactly. And same thing, like the cinematography was also amazing on Sort of. So yeah, I would definitely say Sort of is a show that I would love people to see. A recent show that I did that I guess is not really in the same vein, but I worked on a couple of episodes of For the Culture with Amanda Paris, and it's essentially about I would say like Black people's contribution in different sections of like art, music, basketball, and a bunch of other stuff. But Amanda was a journalist and she kind of has like theses per episode.
Mm.
So like one of the episode is called I think it's called Happy Never After that I did, and it's about Black women being the highest single rate of like people in the world. I don't remember the exact number, but
Mhm.
the episode essentially explores like if you know that you're not going to be someone to get traditionally married or, take that traditional path, how can you still hit the same milestones as everyone else? So, for example, like you may not get married, but you can buy a house with a friend, or you may not have kids, but you're going to be the best auntie. Like that's just how can you find other ways to pivot? And yeah, I just feel like if you're interested in reflecting, learning more about, the Black experience, I think that is definitely a great show to watch. If you want to learn more about trans lives, queerness in a very interesting way, I think Sort of is also a good show to check out.
Thank you.
Very cool. I
Yeah.
definitely want to do that.
No, yeah, they're good shows.
Okay, so we always end with a series of rapid fire questions. They're
Go
this
for
or
it.
that, whichever one appeals to you. Um, yeah, so these are just meant to be fun.
Okay.
So the first one is Coke or ginger ale.
Oh, ginger ale for sure. Yeah, I don't drink Coke. I don't like dark pop. I think it's so weird that it's black. There's something about it being black that throws me off.
Oh,
I
But yeah,
get that.
ginger ale.
How about all the things she said or I'll believe in anything?
Oh, all the things she said. Come on. That song is just so infectious. Oh my gosh. I hear it a million times a day scrolling my feeds, and I'll have to let it play every single time.
Where?
right. The chair drag or Scott lifting Kip.
I think Scott lifted Kip. I have to go with that.
Okay.
That is so funny.
All right, here's another funny one. Would you rather go to a hotel or a hookup building in the plateau?
Oh my gosh. Definitely the hotel. I'm not into that. So definitely the hotel.
Yeah, we'll have people say that's
You
creepy.
get the funniest
No.
answers for that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, like that's too much. Give me that clean hotel room that doesn't smell like cigarettes and we're good to go.
All right.
Okay. Tuna melts or burgers?
Oh my gosh. I feel like everyone's obsessed with tuna melt stuff from that show. It was cute though. It was very cute. Um,
It is cute.
I'm gonna have to say burger. Although I do like tuna melts, but I probably have them once every 5 years, so I can't give it the win here.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
Fair.
This is a hard one, and we'll understand if you say both. Rose or Svetlana?
Oh my gosh, you can't do that.
You could say both. You could say both.
Yeah, I would have to say both for different reasons. I loved both of their characters, but if I
Okay.
had to pick one, just based on a conversation from the show, I would say Rose, only because when they were sitting
Okay.
and Hudson was like talking to her like
Hmm.
about like them coming out and stuff, that conversation was just so sweet. I was
Yeah.
like, everyone needs to like if you're like a closeted gay and you're dating a straight woman and that's the conversation you have, like you win. Like, I just felt like how she handled it
Nailed
was
it.
just so
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I'm like, I'd want a friend like that. You know what I mean? Then they broke up and they still were friends. Like, I'm like, yeah, Rose, like, you're amazing. So yeah, that conversation alone, I was like, okay, I like her. Like, you're good people. You're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go Rose.
All right. And the last one, the Canada Fleece or Ilya's club shirt.
Oh my gosh. Yo, no, it's just so funny. I'm like, they're both blowing up.
Yeah, yeah.
I might have to say Connor's
The hardest.
shirt only because I do
Okay.
enjoy things that are a little bit more like flashy. And I feel like the fleece is like cute and pretty, but I feel like if I saw a bunch of people wearing it, I wouldn't be like, you know what I mean? Outside of it
Yeah.
being a part
I
of the
mean,
show.
Yeah.
But I think like if I saw like Connor in the club with that shirt, I'd be like, yo, that's fire. Like, I love that. Like, okay, do your thing, enjoy the party.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd definitely say that.
That shirt turned some heads for sure.
No, shout out Hannah. She did her thing. Everyone looked
Yeah.
great. All their
Yeah.
fits were
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. They loved it. Thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. Check back soon for more heated rivalry love on Loon Lovers Live.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's good vibes.
Thank you.